Hey, everybody, we're back this afternoon with Ava Claire, who appeared on American Idol. Sorta. We're going to talk about that. Ava, how's it going this afternoon?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So let's talk about American Idol. You were on the current season. However, we didn't actually get to see you or any of your performances live. It's so disappointing.
I know.
So let's talk about this. Tell me how you decided to audition for the show, or did they reach out to you?
Well, I actually was recruited by a casting director, a casting producer through Instagram. Actually, I thought it was fake at first. And after talking with her a little bit, I agreed to go on a meeting with her. And that was when we figured out it was not fake and it was in fact real. And I kind of always wanted to audition for something like American Idol or The Voice or America's Got Talent or just one of those things. I was always so curious. And we had a couple meetings with the casting producer, and it was last summer was when we started talking about it. And I had a lot of things going on. I had Grammy camp. I had just gotten into Grammy camp for the songwriting track, which was super exciting. And then I had a lot of gigs on the horizon in the future. And so it kind of felt really intense, like everything was kind of happening at once. And so we had a couple meetings, and I originally agreed to do it. And then when the date was kind of looming over me, the date where we would meet with the first round of executive producers, because you meet with 2 rounds of producers, the first round of executive producers, and then the second round of executive producers, which is like the showrunners. So those are like the people whose names are like on the bottom after the show airs. And so I actually had decided not to do it. I told her that I wasn't going to do it because I didn't feel like I was prepared. I didn't think I was ready for it. And she was like, I really want to meet with you just one more time. And she said that she's just like, I really believe in you and I think that you can do this. And originally she wanted me to do 2 covers and a original song for my audition. And she was like, scratch that, just do 2 original songs and a cover, because that was something that was kind of stressing me out, was the prospect of learning covers for this, when I've been working on honing my craft with my own personal songwriting for so long. And she was like, I just think that the way that we can best represent who you are as a songwriter and an artist is by showing your own song. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And I was so nervous. And I auditioned for the executive producers.
So was your audition city in Nashville, or did you have to travel somewhere to audition?
So after, there were almost like almost 3, there were 2 rounds of auditions first before I went to my actual physical audition in front of the judges.
Right.
And those were over Zoom. And then, so I got through the first round, and I got off the Zoom, and my casting producer called me like 3 minutes later, and she was like, they loved you. They want you to audition for the second round. And so I auditioned for the second round of producers, and I was playing my songs just like I had done before. And we were over Zoom. So whenever you record something on Zoom, it goes, this is screen recording. And so I was performing, and all of a sudden I hear, your Zoom is recording. And I was like, oh no, what did I do? and so I, after I was finished, they told me to bring my mom down, and I brought my mom down, and they just kind of asked my mom about how I got to where I was at that point in my career. And they told me that they really liked me as an artist, and they thought that I was really special, and they wanted me to come to audition for their season 21. And so I was lots of crying and jumping in for joy. But auditioning in Nashville, I actually wasn't supposed to audition in Nashville first. They wanted to put me in New Orleans, which was interesting because I was like, oh, but I'm in Nashville. But I guess where your location doesn't really matter. They can put you anywhere, because there were 3 locations. There was Vegas, New Orleans, and Nashville. And so that was something that was kind of weird. I was like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. And so that was a really cool experience. We had to vlog most of it. They wanted us to record little bits of vlogs. I think if you watch the show, sometimes people will, you'll see clips of people recording things. So it was kind of hard to vlog a 25-minute car ride to the hotel, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so you did your audition in front of the judges. Tell us what you performed there since we weren't able to see that.
Yeah, I performed an original song I wrote called Skin, which is out on all streaming platforms.
But you go hear it.
But I was really nervous to perform an original song because songwriting is something that is so near and dear to my heart. And it's almost like I was pouring my heart out for Lionel Richie, Katy Perry, and Luke Bryan, which are people that I've idolized my whole life. And so it was really nerve-wracking, but it was a really amazing experience. And hearing them give their feedback on my music and my myself as an artist was something that I would never ever thought in a million years would happen. And so it was just like, even to get to that point, I was just so grateful to be there. And I didn't even care if I got through, if I got a golden ticket. I was just like, I'm just so happy to be here in this moment with you guys. So that was just such a surreal experience.
Yeah, so you made it through. You got your golden ticket, which we didn't get to see, but we saw on your social media that you told us you made it through. You got your golden ticket. This past Sunday was Hollywood Week.
Mhm.
And so you also performed. But you told me something before we got started. I didn't realize there are so many people who perform that we don't get to see. So that is a lot that I had no idea.
I know. You cut out for a little bit. So can you
Yes.
restate your question?
So for Hollywood Week, you were telling me that there are so many performers, so many we didn't know. We only get to see a very small fraction of them. So tell us about how many approximately were there for Hollywood Week.
I actually don't know how many were there for Hollywood Week. We aren't really, I think there were around probably a little under 200, I would guess, for
That's
Hollywood.
a lot.
But,
And then there's
yeah.
only a certain amount of time that they can show on the live show. So we missed you again for Hollywood Week.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So we're so disappointed. But tell us about that. Tell us what your performance was like for that.
It was Hollywood Week was definitely intense, and because I was a minor, my experience was a little bit different than some of the other contestants, because minors, California labor laws are different, and so I was required to do a certain amount of hours of school every day. So they would take all the minors and we'd go to school, and then they would take us out for interviews and stuff and rehearsal. But it was, for my performance, I sang "Uh-huh" by Jay Bird, who is a little indie rock singer. And there's a lot of waiting. There's a lot of waiting in Hollywood Week because there's so many people to get through, and they don't have the time that they do with the first auditions, because with the first auditions, they get to have a lot of one-on-one with you, and they can talk to you and kind of give you critiques and tell you what they liked and what they didn't like. But with Hollywood, you perform, and that's it. So wow. You don't get a lot of feedback from the judges, and they had a lot of people to get through. So it was a lot of waiting in line and just kind of a lot of things. You could feel the tension in the room, which is like when people were waiting. But it was the location that we were at. It was the historic Los Angeles Theater, and I obviously had known this personally because Taylor Swift performed there. So I was like having my Swiftie moment.
Yeah.
I was very excited. You could really feel the history when you walked in, and it felt like it had so many like stories and secrets to tell, if that makes sense. It was just, the atmosphere was so incredible, and it's indescribable. But being able to perform on that stage was just an incredible experience overall.
Well, it sounds like overall you had a great experience, even though we're not going to be able to see you
Yeah.
in the show going forward. But tell us what you've got going on, because I know you're really active here locally and you've been doing shows and you have a lot of other things happening.
Yeah, I actually have a gig at the Bluebird Cafe on May 28th. I'm going to be doing a songwriters round with about 3 or 4 other writers. So I'm very excited about that. And then I'm also during the summer going to be recording my hopefully full-length album in LA. So there's lots of content coming up that I'm really excited about.
Well, we were excited to see and know. We always love supporting our locals on the show. So that was so fun. And we got to follow for a short time. But let people know where they can keep following you and keep up with all your new things going on.
Yeah, I'm Ava Claire Music on everything. So I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and then I have a couple singles out on all streaming platforms. If you want to listen to my audition song, even though it didn't get aired, Skin is out on all streaming platforms. I'm really proud of that song, and I love, people seem to connect with it a lot, so I love that. But yeah.
All right, we'll go check it out. Hey, before you go, would you go back? Because sometimes people go back for a second time. Would you go back? You're like,
I don't know. I feel like ask me in 6 months and then maybe I'll.
okay.
I'm not sure.
All right. We'll see you soon. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.